Hello and welcome back to the Earthstar Tribrid channel. I am your host, Earthstar Tribrid. So, I got some well-needed rest. I was so tired last night. So, like I said, at the end of the read that I did last night with Charlie Kirk, someone in my comments, a subscriber in my comments, a viewer in my comments was basically asking me to do a channeled read on Elon Musk and U.H.I, which is Universal High Income. I don't know what this is, so I was reading it. Universal high income is a future economic concept that suggests that advanced AI and robotics will create such abundance that everyone can access all desired goods and services, far exceeding basic needs, eliminating poverty and the need to work for survival, shifting focus to meaning and purpose instead of labor. And I'm reading this and I'm just like, yeah, but how? How will it do that? That's the part I don't understand. Because it quite honestly, I need more candles. I need my last two candles. Because it doesn't seem like, because you need money in order to survive. As much as everybody sits there and says money is the root of all evil, you still need it to survive. Unfortunately, in this economy, and in this world, we need money to pay our rent, our bills, our food, to take care of our children, our health, everything. It's all with money. So if you have AI and robotics basically taking over all, because not everybody is smart, okay? I'm not saying that everybody's stupid, but I'm just saying not everybody is intelligent enough to run their own company or have the means to do so. So if you're taking away those basic jobs and you're sitting here saying that it's going to eliminate poverty, to me it sounds like that's exactly going to put them in poverty. Because how else are they going to live? What else are they going to do? They're like, well, they can focus to meaning and purpose instead of labor. I'm like, well, sometimes people's purposes are to build houses. Sometimes people's purposes are to take care of other people, to be nurses, to be doctors. So it doesn't really make, to me, it doesn't really make sense. We're going to go ahead and get into exactly what this is all going to be, what this is really about, what this is actually going to do to, because honestly, I feel like this would definitely benefit people who are employers, like high marketing employers. So that way they don't have to spend so much money on people in general for, have to hire, rehire, fire, people taking time off, training people. Like, that's going to eliminate that. People don't need to take breaks. If they're robots, they won't need breaks. If they're robots, they won't need time off. If they're robots, you don't have to worry about the training because it's already pre-programmed into them. Obviously. But then what happens to the people? I feel like we're being sold a pipe dream. And what I was also thinking, I'm like, this is kind of we're going to get into it, okay? But this is what I was thinking when I was reading this. I'm like, this is kind of like a form of slow genocide in the sense of getting rid of the people who don't really need, like that. Like they need people, some people need to work, you know what I mean? Not everybody can be a singer. People can sing, but not everybody can be an entertainer in the sense of having that it factor that can make them a whole bunch of money. Like Taylor Swift, Bruno Mars, because that's why there's people called one-hit wonders. All right? So, I mean, it's not a genocide in the sense you're throwing a whole bunch of people in the gas chamber, but this is slowly but surely getting to because how are they supposed to make money? There's sirens going off now. So how are they supposed to make money if all their jobs, including labor, are going into AI and robots? Like I said, not everybody is like I'm not computer savvy by any means. I would not be able to do IT. Like honestly, I hate dealing with computers and technology. It's a pain in the ass. Like it's very stressful for me. I don't like it. Like, my way of being able to fix something is taking a bat to it when it comes to like a computer or something. Like, fuck this. So does that mean you guys are going to pay for their schooling to be able to go into IT? So that way they can, because you need people to be able to fix the robots if they were to break down. But if they're self-sufficient robots, meaning that they learn to fix their own stuff as they go along, then like, what's the purpose? What is the purpose of people in general? So I just feel like there's a lot in this that it's not really explaining too much. I mean, it sounds nice, but like, where's the reality? All right, so let me go ahead and sage and we'll get into it. All right. Am I speaking to the All High Almighty? Am I speaking with Jesus Christ? Am I speaking to anyone else other than the two of you? Do you swear upon Jesus Christ's name you're telling me the truth about who you are? It's my favorite color, red. It's my favorite color, blue. It's my favorite car, a Viper. It's my favorite car, a Mustang. It's my favorite flower, roses. It's my favorite flower, lilies. Okay. When it comes to the universal high income, what would you like me to use first? Scrabble letters or dice? Dice? Scrabble letters. Okay. Going into the letters. If the universal high income came to pass, what would that mean to the people of the world? What would happen to the people of the world if that were to come to pass? We got autumn. Autumn is also fall. I'm hearing fall. Capricorn. Exclamation that and number sign. Do you need me to pull out any more letters? Yes. Summer. Number 4. Ooh. Okay. Number 12. Number 12. Aquarius. Do I need to pull out any more letters? No. Okay. So this is in regards what would happen to the people of the world if this were to come to pass. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping that, it will do something good for the economy, or good for the people, that is. Not just for the, because people say it's good for the economy. I'm like, but is it good for the people? Not everything is about finance. It's just kind of like, it takes more to raise in a child than it is to just be financially supportive. Like, you need to show nurturing, kindness, love, care, like physical and mental, emotional. There's more than just financial aspect of it. And technically, we are considered the children of God, so. Will this be a good thing or a bad thing? A good thing? A bad thing? Ooh. Okay. So if this were to come to pass, would it be a good thing? That's a no. Would it be a bad thing? It would be bad? Okay. Mass. Getting mass. I'm getting decline, but I'm not seeing the N in here. I'm gonna make sure I'm spelling it. Now I'm getting a different word. Hold on. Just need to make sure that I'm spelling it right. Yeah, okay. And now there's sirens going off. And I don't have an O. I'm getting deceleration. Reduction in speed or rate. Are the messages in the letters? Is the message in the letters? And the symbols. Okay, so the message. I'm getting mass decline, mass deceleration. Something's not going to be growing, basically. Something's going to slow down. It's not going to speed up. So we're going to look into this. Now there's a helicopter going over past, and I hardly ever hear helicopters around here. Okay, so we have Capricorn and Aquarius. So Capricorn, and the fact that we have this coming out and it's saying that it's bad. And I gotta remain unbiased, but when I was reading it, I'm just like, Capricorn in 12th house. Sounds like something's going to turn around and bite us in the ass. Capricorn in the 12th house indicates a disciplined approach to one's inner subconscious world, often involving significant karmic lessons and a need for solitude to find inner peace. Potential challenges include difficulties in expressing emotions, a tendency toward perfectionism, a fear of vulnerability or loss of control, and a need to manage feelings of isolation. If you've ever seen the movie Surrogate, I forget what year it came out, either early 2010s or late 2000s, like the late early 2000s, like 08, 09, somewhere in there. But the movie Surrogate, Bruce Willis, basically people can be who they want to be in these pods, but they lose human connection. And they're just always isolating themselves, and they just live in a fantasy world. Path to growth. The journey involves learning to surrender to the flow of life, balance the need for structure with the fluidity of the spiritual realm, and embrace introspection and self-compassion to transform inner fears and find spiritual liberation. Hidden strengths and talents. The desire for structure and control operates in the background, leading to hidden strengths that may manifest as a powerful, quiet resilience or an ability to work effectively behind the scenes in fields like research, healthcare, and government. Like I said, not everybody can work in research, healthcare, and government. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody can do that. When it comes to manual labor, sometimes that's all somebody can do. Like, somebody gets out of jail, you don't want to give them access to computers and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, depending on what they did, especially depending on what they did. You need manual labor jobs. Like, okay, so if you remember in Good Will Hunting, where Ben Affleck's character basically tells him, he's like, sometimes when I wake up and come knock on your door, sometimes I wish that you don't even answer, because like it's insulting for you to have such intelligence and you let it go to waste, because not all of us, like he's like, you think I want to be laying brick for the rest of my life? I wish I can do what you do, but I can't. This is what I'm only good at. And it's not to sit here and downplay anybody who builds a house, because, like, without people who can build houses, I wouldn't have a roof over my head. I don't know how to build houses. You know, everybody has their own strengths, their own weaknesses. You know, not everybody can be good at something, at like everything. You know, that would just make you way too powerful. You know, God puts us in control of certain things for a reason. And to take that away and give it to a robot that, you know, can't, that doesn't need breaks, that doesn't need time off, that doesn't need maternity leave, or, you know, anything like that. Like, you're just taking that away. And it sounds nice in the sense of, like, it's going to lead. I don't see how it could eliminate poverty. It sounds like there's going to be a lot of people who will go into poverty because they can't get a job because a freaking robot is doing it. Okay, so Capricorn in 4th house signifies a deep, serious, and responsible approach to home, family, and emotional foundations, often resulting in a structured upbringing, emotionally reserved nature, and a strong drive to build lasting security through it can feel like a duty or burden. Individuals with this placement seek control, reliability, and deep roots, often dealing with strict parents or a disciplined family life, and prioritizing long-term stability over fleeting emotional displays. Okay, and then we got Aquarius. Signifies an unconventional home and family life where emotional security comes from freedom, intellect, and individuality rather than tradition. You seek an emotionally stimulating, accepting home base, often with unique family dynamics or a feeling of being different from your roots. Mass break. Massive leaks. You seek an emotionally stimulating, accepting home base with unique family dynamics, or a family of being different from your roots, valuing personal growth and innovation in your private inner world. And Aquarius in 12th house. Blends Aquarian innovation and humanitarianism with the 12th house's themes of subconscious, hidden realms, and spirituality, suggesting someone deeply connected to collective consciousness, perhaps experiencing unconscious revolutionary ideas, mental health challenges, or a strong intuitive psychic sense, needing to surrender control and work with unseen forces for spiritual growth, often related to past life themes of rebellion or serving humanity from behind the scenes. It kind of sounds like what I'm doing, but you know, it is what it is. Because I'm behind the scenes, you can't see me. Like, you see parts of me, but you can't see all of me. Massive leaks, massive breaks. Because, like, what are people, if this were to come to pass, what will happen to people? What will happen to the people? I'm hearing distress. What will happen to the people? Do I need to pull out any more letters? No. Okay. So I'm asking, if this were to come to pass, what will happen to the people? So we have first house, Chiron, and then we also have money. Because if you just left everything to robots, like, what are people good for? What are humans good for? Like, not just Americans, but just anybody. What are we going to be good for? What are we supposed to be doing with our lives? I mean, yes, it's to find, yes, you have all the time in the world to find what to spiritual, like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense to me. Because how are they supposed to pay for rent? How are they supposed to pay for their children's school, health, all that? Especially if you don't want them on government assistance. Because I'm telling you right now, a $2,000 stimulus check once a year isn't going to cut it, especially when your rent is like so high. Okay, we got money, debt. Are there any more messages in the letters? No. Are there any messages in the symbols? Yes. So we got debt. If you can't make money and you got all these bills to pay, like I said, all these robots are taking over all your jobs. How are you supposed to pay for things? How are you supposed to eat? I mean, like, you're basically going to be living in the Stone Age. You just basically go live in a hut, no electricity, no water, no nothing. You got to go home for that stuff, because how else are you supposed to pay for it if the robot? Because this sounds like it's going to benefit the employers, not the employees. If this comes to pass, will it benefit the employees? No. The employers? Yes. Aries and Chiron signifies a deep wound around self-identity, self-worth, and personal assertion, often stemming from feeling unheard or powerless in childhood. It doesn't necessarily have to be childhood, but it gifts individuals with powerful healing through authentic leadership and pioneering courage, transforming the wounded healer into a guide for others to find their voice and a place in the world. This placement emphasizes learning to embrace one's inner warrior, express needs directly, and claim space, turning inherent impulsiveness into heroic self-discovery and healing with the current transition 2025 to 2027, bringing these themes to the collective. Okay. We got first house. Signifies a personality defined by boldness, action, leadership, and raw pioneering energy, making you appear direct, impulsive, and courageous, with a strong sense of self and a tendency to dive headfirst into life, driven by Mars, the ruler of Aries, focusing on vitality, identity, and initiating new ventures. Because it's like, they're like, well, yeah, you can, because what is it? What does it say? Eliminating poverty and the need to work for survival. I'm like, how though? Like, how are they supposed to make money? If this were to come to pass, how are the people, not, we're not saying employers, because obviously the employers have more money than they know what to do with, but the people, how are they supposed to eliminate poverty if they can't work, if they can't make money? Not everybody can do IT, not everybody is like electronic smart. You know what I mean? Like I said, there are people who are born to build houses. Because if you look at it in a spirit, because if you're talking this whole shifting focus to meaning and purpose instead of labor. Okay, well maybe their meaning and purpose here on Earth is to build houses. Maybe their meaning and purpose on Earth is to serve food in a cafeteria lunch line. It's a service. Because if you look at it through a spiritual standpoint, we already know what our role here is on Earth, because you sign a contract, in the 5D. Like, we'll consider this the 3D, and the 5D is like where God and Jesus and everybody else is. So if you look into spirituality, we are all here on a mission already. We don't always have the memory of what we're, because we have to look. We gotta, free will, obviously. But we're all here for our own divine purpose. Not everybody's purpose is the same as everyone else's. Some people's purposes are higher up than versus anyone else's, but everybody has the free will to do so. Like I said, you have 3 people here who are singers. They all can sing, but there's always that one person that has the it factor, who can make it all the way, who can make top charting hits, who can keep it going. If not, that's why they have a term called one-hit wonders. Okay, yeah, they made a good song, but can they keep it going? So yes, you can have people who start singing, like you got the person who sings for kids, you got the person who sings at weddings, and then you got the person who literally is on top charts. We can use Taylor Swift for example, or like Bruno Mars. These guys have that talent, that initiative, that innovation to just keep it going, to produce newer and newer things. But not everybody can do that. Not everybody can be a Stephen King, for example. Not everybody can be a J.K. Rowling, And with Stephanie Meyer and Twilight, she made that series, and then that was it. You know what I mean? It was a very productive series. Yes, I'm not sitting there saying that it wasn't. It was a very productive. She made a lot of money off of that. But has she done anything else recently? No. So this sounds good in theory. Is this going to beat any type of debt that people have? No. Okay, because now I'm seeing here. Okay, because I saw beat and I'm like, beat debt. And it said, no, it's not going to beat debt. But then I got this. Okay, deadbeats. A deadbeat is an informal derogatory term for someone who avoids responsibilities, especially failing to pay debts or child support, acting as a lazy loafer or sponger who doesn't meet financial obligations like bills or rent. Like I said, how are they supposed to do that if everything's being given to the robots to do? And like I said, not everybody is technologically, I don't want to say advanced, but like for me, for example, I look at technology and I'm like, oh shit, that's all in Greek to me. I don't know what the hell you want me to do with that. I can draw you a picture though. I can give you a reading. I have my own thing to do, but at the same time, how is that going to make somebody money? You know what I mean? Not everybody can be really, really good at everything. That's why you have people, like a group of specific people who work together to do a specific job. If you give all that to a robot, obviously, yes, the employers are going to benefit greatly, greatly. But the fact to sit here and say like, oh, it's going to be getting rid of poverty. Well, it sounds like a lot of people are going to go into poverty. And you're just eliminating the masses that you think don't really serve any type of good to you because, you know, they're just expendable. It can also describe a person who is deadbeat, 2 words, meaning extremely tired. But deadbeat, 1 word, is the financial responsibility context, while deadbeat, 2 words, often hyphenated as deadbeat, means exhausted. Because how are they, like, again, how are they, okay. So if this comes to pass, oh wait, let's look in Leo and Chiron real quick. Centered on issues of self-worth, recognition, and authentic self-expression where one's natural joy and creativity feel conditional or punished, leading to a fear of being too much or not enough. Like I said, like if you got the singers, one can be really, really good and top in the charts and stuff, where the other one just, plays Barney at a children's birthday party. You know what I mean? It's not to sit here and smash on anybody. It's just the hierarchy of things, okay? It's the hierarchy, all right? Like too much or not enough. Equating love with performance and struggling with the spotlight, often feeling unseen or misunderstood in their need for validation. It's going to be a lot. Healing involves learning that self-expression isn't selfish and deserves love. Transform the need for external applause into inner confidence. If this were to come to pass, how are the people, not the employers, because obviously they will be doing really, really well. They won't need people, the employees, to be able to do their job. But like, how are the people, the employees, supposed to make money if this were to come to pass? If this were to come to pass, how are the people, employees, supposed to make money, make a living? And to keep a roof over their head, to keep food in their bellies, to make sure their kids have everything that they need. How are they supposed to make money or do this in order for this if this were to come to pass, how are they supposed to do that? Should I pull out any more letters? No. Hopefully this stays just a theory, because I don't see this ending well for anybody, to be honest with you. Just the people who are already in power and have money, it's going to be good for them, but no one else. Especially if you don't want them living off the government for the rest of their lives, because they're going to end up having to do that. Unless you bring back, because if you notice, you don't see apple trees growing along the streets, you don't see orange trees growing along the streets, you don't see banana trees growing along. If you literally did that, that kind of helps solve a little bit of the hunger issue that people are having, but they don't want to do that because they want to profit, they want to make money off of it. And you can sit here and say, like, oh, it's the mess, it's the bugs. I'm like, that's not what it is. You can say that all you want. That's not what it is. The fact that you want to capitalize. If you're going to tell it, tell the truth. Pick. So they would have to be like big boss managers, big bosses. Okay, so the term pick me is also often used in expression as pick me girl or pick me boy is a derogatory slang term for a person who seeks excessive attention and validation, typically from the opposite sex, often by putting down their own gender or feigning, feigning, certain interests or vulnerability, seeking approval, distancing from their own group, inauthenticity, So they would have to be a manager or some type of double XL, like big boss. They could be either big boss or big boss. Greenery, green foliage, growing plants or vegetation. Basically, just growing your. Okay, so do I have an A out here? No. But I'm getting like farmer. You're going to have to start farming your own land. In order for you to make money, you're going to have to start farming your own land, trying to sell your own products, being a manager, being a big boss. Like, you can't just be a regular employee. You're going to have to put yourself in a manager boss position or be a pick me. I'm getting DFL. Yep, DFL has several meanings, most commonly referring to the Minnesota Democratic Farmer Labor Party. Farmer. Because we got greenery. Farmer. So you're going to have your own land. You're going to have to harvest. You're going to have to grow off your own land. But like I said, not everybody has that green thumb. Okay? Not everybody can do that. And you're taking away their basic work. And people can sit here and be like, well, they can go to school. How are they supposed to pay for school? If they can't work to make money because everything's being given to AI and robots, how are they supposed to work and make money to pay for schooling? Are the government going to pay for everything? Because I thought that was what you were supposed to be stopping. Or Docker-enabled federated learning in tech or AI. Less commonly, it's used as down from London, a term for people moving to English countryside. Yeah, people who cannot do this are going to end up going to the countryside and just living, like I said, living off their own land. They're going to have to, build their own from the ground up, literally. Are there any more messages within the letters? Are there any messages within the symbols? No. But yeah, you can be a manager, a D manager, like district manager. You would have to be in a big boss position in order to make money. Or have money. The fact that it says everyone can access all this, yeah, but that doesn't mean that it's okay. We're gonna get into this. What can the government do for the people to make sure that everybody can live the way they need to live? Like, just, I'm not saying lavishly, but just like comfortably, without stress, without worry. What can the government do to ensure that type of lifestyle? Because this just sounds way too good to be true, and it basically is. What can the government do realistically to help the people live comfortable lifestyles where they don't have to worry? Now, granted, this also considers how you yourself spend your money. If you sit here and just the second you get money, it just you send it right out the door because you want this, you want that, you want this, you want that, then obviously you're going to stay in a poverty, like, not just mindset, but just lifestyle. Cars are honking in the distance when I said that. What can the government do realistically to assist the people of the world, or even just our country? We'll just say the higher up people assist the people of the world to live comfortable lifestyles where they don't have to worry about where their next meal is going to come from, whether or not they're going to be put out on the street because they can't make rent. What can they do to help us with that? One second. Should I roll the dice? No, pull letters. Yes, okay. Do I need to pull out any more letters? Yes. Alright, I didn't even get any symbols in that one. What can the government do to assist the people to live better lives? Realistically. 11. Exclamation. Oh, we got 2 exclamation points. We got create. Are we doing the X or the money symbol? X. Money symbol. Okay. Do you need me to pull out any more letters? No. So let's get into what the 11th house is. Okay, so 11th house governs friendships, groups, communities, hopes, wishes, and a collective aspirations ruled by Aquarius and Uranus, representing how we connect with the larger world, find our tribe, and work toward idealistic goals. It's the domain where personal dreams meet collective action, focusing on social networks, humanitarian efforts, technology, and our vision for the future, moving beyond the self, 5th house, to find belonging in society. Okay. So this is what the government can do to help us, the people, live more comfortable lifestyles without the need of worry, like without the worry of whether or not we're going to have food on the table, or, if we can pay our rent. Okay. I'm reading some. I just typed that in. Obviously, it could also mean snoring, sleeping, but there's other things that are involved. So as soon as I get this done, we're gonna get into that. No debt. Oh, I see. Are you saying no EBT or yes to EBT? Saying yes to EBT. EBT, yes to EBT, which is, the food stamps. So they're talking about eliminating debt, keeping the food snaps, or food snap. See, but we got government assist, food stamps, EBT, no debt, get rid of the debt. Some of you are going to get mad, but it is what it is. Tariffs. A car just honked as soon as I said that. So tariffs are definitely going to help us in the long run. What's that on? Should we have free schooling? Free healthcare? No. We should pay for that? Yes. Alright. Should it stay at the amount that it is for healthcare and for schooling? No. It needs to be lowered? Yes. Because a lot of the times, in order for you to become your own boss, you have to have the degree. If you can't afford the degree, because they're like, oh, well, you have scholarships. Not everybody can get on a scholarship. You literally go through a process when it comes to a scholarship. And quite honestly, I feel like, okay, so in order to get better schooling, what should the government do regarding being able to get people the schooling that they need in order to live more productive lives? What can the government do towards schooling to receive better educations to live better lives? I had to make sure my kid was okay because he's being super quiet. Okay. What can the government do to ensure the people to have better education or can afford education in order to lead more productive lives? Because if you want them to be their own boss so that way you can have something like this happen, something's got to give. You can't just be like, oh yeah, we're going to do this and everything's going to be better. Well, you're going to have to do more than that. It doesn't just start with that. It also starts with being able to get them a better education. Because there's too many people in the world to everybody be their own boss. You know what I mean? Because everybody will be in competition with everyone else. When it comes to that dice there, are we going for the sun, Mars, or the star? Sun, Mars, star. Fixed. Okay. Should I pull out any more letters? Yes. North or south node? North, south node. Got 2, got 11. Also got Virgo. Do we need any more letters? No. This is in regards to schooling, what the government can do to make sure that we can afford schooling to have better, more productive lives. Because when I say, should we have free healthcare and free schooling, it said no. We should still pay for that, but it should be more financially affordable. Low tax. I came out right as soon as I saw tax. I'm like, okay. Low taxes. It's kind of basically telling me right now that the higher up people need to stop being so dang on greedy. So low tax on jobs, food, and gas. We need to cut out the middleman. Basically, like for example, with gas, we can make our own gas. Why do we have to get it outsourced? No outsourcing. I mean, certain people are gonna be mad about that, but it's like, no outsourcing, cut out the middleman, low tax on job, food, and gas. And a lot of times doing that is definitely going to be cutting with no outsourcing, cutting out the middleman. All right. Alright, so we got 1, 2, 11, Virgo. Should we keep taxes? No, cut out the taxes. Yep. No tax. It says low tax to no tax. Either low to no tax. Low to no tax. What's CTR? I'm getting CTR for a reason, so 1 second. CTR most commonly stands for click-through rate, a key digital marketing metric showing clicks divided by impressions, views, to gauge ad link effectiveness. In finance, CTR means currency transaction report, a mandatory filing for cash transactions over $10,000 to prevent money laundering. It can also refer to terms like cardiothoracic ratio, whatever that is. But that's important in some way, shape, because CTR came out for a reason. I didn't even know what that is. Yeah, some people, like, the middleman is going to get mad, but, like, I mean, like, foreign goods, like, foreign stuff, I understand that you have to get it from somewhere else, but, like, with these farmers that we have now, like, you should be able to go to your own farm, like, farmer's market. Farms. I don't have an E, but I'm getting farmer's market. SNAP, should SNAP benefits work at the farmer's market? Yeah. Do they work there now? No, I don't think so. Do SNAP benefits work at farmers markets? Oh, they do. Okay. It's by swiping EBT for tokens or script to spend at vendors. You can now buy items like flowers or hot meals to participate. Oh, not all. Okay. Okay, not all. You have to find participating markets. So not all farmers markets. They can't. Okay, so yes, SNAP benefits work at many farmers markets, but you have to find participating markets. So should all farmers markets allow food SNAP benefits? Yes. Okay. Are there any answers in the symbols? Yes. So we got Virgo in first, second, 11th, Chiron, and North Node. So Virgo, North Node signifies your soul's evolutionary path towards practical service, detailed work, health, and self-improvement, moving away from past life comfort zones into a life of being useful, organized, and grounded in reality, learning to help others effectively by first helping oneself. This journey involves embracing organization, precision, and physical wellness, finding fulfillment and contributing to the world in tangible ways. That's basically what I asked. What can we do realistically to help with the community or the world? That is, so low to no tax, low tax or no tax on jobs, food, gas, cutting out the middleman, no outsourcing. Because like I said before, and I forget what but we all have what we need. Oh, it was the one about Palestine and the Hamas and Hamas. I almost said, did I say hummus or Hamas? Anyway, Hamas versus Israel. Sorry. But basically, we all have what we need where we live. Okay, everything we need is right there. Okay, we need to learn how to cultivate it for ourselves instead of outsourcing. I mean, granted, there are some things that you like export. There's certain things that other places make that are in high demand, but do we really need it, or is it something that we just want? You kind of have to do a balancing. It's like, do we need it, or do we just want it? If we just want it, we don't really have a need for it. Somebody's yelling outside, being very loud, so that obviously is a confirmation on something. I mean, somebody, like I said, people might get mad about that, but it is what it is. You can't have your cake and eat it too, or is it? You can't eat your cake and have it too. Either way, it's that scenario. So it's between needing and wanting. So Virgo and Chiron signifies deep wounds around perfectionism, self-worth, health, and feeling useful, stemming with inadequacy or criticism, but it grants powerful gifts of practical healing, meticulous service, and analytical ability to help others improve their lives and well-being, transforming insecurity into profound competence. This placement highlights struggles with criticism, self-inflicted or external, and health, leading to a deep need to fix and organize, which becomes a pathway to becoming a skilled healer for others. 11th house, Virgo in 11th house. A practical, analytical, and self-oriented approach to friendships, groups, and aspirations, focusing on useful, efficient, and meaningful contributions to communities in humanitarian causes, often through detailed work, health, or systems. You're likely to have high standards or friends, value loyal and supportive connections, and seek to improve the world in tangible ways, using your critical eye for positive change rather than just critique. Okay. Sorry, but it kind of sounds like what I'm doing right now, but Alright, so Virgo in second house signifies your values, self-worth, finances, and possessions are governed by Virgo's analytical, detail-oriented, and practical nature, meaning you earn money through hard work, service, and precision, but may struggle with finding satisfaction, always seeking to improve your resources and possessions, and valuing usefulness over luxury. Like, what did I just say? Do we need it, or do we just want it? This placement highlights earning through skills, health, or detailed work leading to security, but challenges involve perfectionism and finances and finding inherent worth beyond practical achievements. So like I said, some people are going to get mad, but it is what it is. Like you can't have both. It's like a man can't have his wife and then have a mistress and think both of them are going to be happy. Unless they want to live that polygamy lifestyle. Happy wife, happy life for a reason. I'm not to sit here and say that I'm not saying that men can't need to be happy in order to have a happy life either. I'm using that as an example. Okay? Don't come at me. It's just an example, guys. Calm it down. Okay, Virgo in first house means your core personality, physical appearance, and approach to life are infused with Virgo's traits: analytical, practical, detail-oriented, health-conscious, and service-minded, often appearing reserved, precise, and youthful, with a focus on self-improvement and understanding how to best serve or fix things in the world, all ruled by Mercury. Okay. Are there any more any more answers within the letters? Within the symbols? No. Oh, so while I was reading all that, I was hearing something else going into my mind, but I have to finish what I'm doing before I can go into it. When it comes to schooling, and when I'm saying schooling, I don't mean you graduated high school and now you got to go into college. No, this involves directly from, I want to say, middle school to high school. Okay, so from middle school to high school, this is what they need to be doing instead of what they're doing right now. Okay, and when I mean that, right now everybody's all about general studies. Yes, general studies have importance, but it's not what's going to get you to make money in the real world, honestly. It's the electives that help you find your place in the world, okay? So I feel like we need to start prioritizing more of the electives versus the general studies. Meaning like, oh, well, you can choose this or that to be able to do something, da, da, da. Like, it's like, no. It's like we have, like when you're choosing your electives, you gotta let these guys know that the electives are going to get what you need to be able to do in the world. Like, they're going to be able to help you find your job, find your meaning in the world, find your place. From middle school to high school, that's what they need to know. Like, obviously, you need to know how to do your, like, when it comes to elementary, ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, learning your geography, stuff like that. But when it comes to middle school, I feel like certain electives need to become general. For example, finances. You need to be able to know how to do your finances. Okay? Health, regarding not just like your own health, but being able to, eat healthy. Like obviously people say physical education is really not all that. No, like physical education is going to keep you from being a lard ass. Okay, sorry to be so blunt about it, but it is what it is. Like home economics, not just like people need to know how to do their own laundry. This is going to help you in the long run, knowing how to do your own laundry instead, like finding ways to be more independent versus codependent. And I know the electives are going to do more for that. I feel like everybody should know how to change their own tire. Everybody should know how to check their own oil. Does everybody need to know how to fix an entire car? No, but like if that's something you want to do, I feel like that should start in middle school. Not like, oh, well, you can choose, here's an elective, and then later on be like, oh, well, I have to hurry up and find something to make a living off of, or I'm just going to be stuck in my parents' house for the rest of my life, yada, yada, yada. Because by the time you get to the end of high school and into college, you're going to have a better idea of exactly what it is that you want to do in your life. So I feel like electives should be more considered, not all electives, but certain electives should be considered more of a general versus just like, oh, well, it's just a choice. You can do whatever you want. They don't really mean anything. Da, da, da. It's the general studies, because growing up, I was always told, like, general studies is something you really need to focus on. Yeah, but the general studies aren't going to give you a job in the real world. It can only get you so far. The electives is what's going to give you some type of, job. So, like, say you graduate high school. Okay, so, like, say you're a guy who just started middle school, and you want to learn cars. Okay, you want to learn cars, and you're like really interested in cars. Like you even watch, NASCAR racing all the time, and this, that, and the third. Like it should start off with the learning process in middle school, and then once you get into high school, you're going to do more of hands-on approaches. You should have some, like very, very limited hands-on approaches when it comes to middle school, because they're still young. You don't want them to get too hurt, depending on what it is. But once you get into high school, you should give them more hands-on approaches on to be able to, like, once they graduate high school, if they want to go into that career, they would already have some type of, not just a high school degree, but elective degree in a specific field that can help you get a job. And this is one other thing. Okay, when it comes to people with minimum wage, I feel like the minimum wage should be for people who are between the ages 14 and 17 years of age. And yes, I do feel like work should start that early at 14. Absolutely. I'm not sitting here saying that you need to be able to handle the big things, but you need to be able to be out in the workforce and understand the workforce. You can't just be living off of mommy and daddy for the rest of your life. You got to grow a pair. You know, get to work. I started babysitting when I was 12 years old. It gives you a formative independence so you can actually grow later in life. And then once you get into ages, like once you get into 18, you can get a higher minimum, like a higher wage. So I think minimum wage, what is minimum wage right now? I mean, obviously it differs. Holy shit, are you fucking kidding me? Okay, so obviously it varies state to state, but in Pennsylvania, because I'm in Pennsylvania, minimum wage remains $7.25. Dude, no. No, absolutely not. No, 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 no. Okay, so that's what I mean. 14 to 17 years old, obviously not full-time work, but part-time work from like up to, part-time work up to 2 to 4 hours per day, but a maximum, but up to like 3 to 4 days per week. Okay, so because you don't want to overwork these guys, especially if they're going into sports and stuff like that, because sports is what's giving them their scholarships nowadays. Okay, like I said, not everybody can do sports. Not everybody's a super genius. Okay, so they need to be able to do something in order to make sure that they can, benefit from it in the future. So I would say 14 years to 17 years for is minimum wage. Like for right now, we're using Pennsylvania as an example, and that's 7.25 an hour. See, like when I first moved over to where I'm at now, I mean, I've been in Pennsylvania for like since '06, it's almost 20 years. When I moved over here and I was looking for like a regular job in retail, they were telling me, oh, $8 an hour. I'm like, do I look like I'm still trying to live at home with my parents? I got bills. I have rents. I am not going to be able to make a living off of $8 an hour. I would have to get like two other jobs like yours in order to make that work. That makes no sense. And then they also have that, oh, well, you can't be in overtime. Yeah, make it make sense. So I would say 14 years to 17 years would be making 7.25 an hour, part-time work only, because they also have school, and like it's going to be up to 2 to 4 hours a day, up to 3 to 4 days a week, no more than that. Okay. Okay, so then when you get into 18 years and older, I would probably say with your college years, 18 to confirmation, my thing just went 18 to like what, 21? That's college years. Depending on your experience. So like say if you, like how I was talking about electives being a little bit more considered general study starting in middle school, depending on what you're trying to get into. So like say we use that mechanic thing, all right, and you get a specific degree, not just a high school diploma, but also a general elective diploma that shows that you have experience since middle school of being able to do this stuff, right? So that means you should be able to start off with like, depending on your experience, like $12 to $14 per hour, unless you want to work in a factory. Like everything else obviously is different, but like I would think the minimum wage for that would start like $12 to $14 an hour, but that also depends on your elective grade. So like how you have associates, bachelors, masters, doctorate, whatever, you should have something very similar to that when it comes to just a high school diploma. Okay, but these are going to be a general electives degree that can allow you to get a job with a higher pay rate. So, and like I said, like so, like say if you don't have that and you're 18 to 20 years, I would say like $12 to $14 an hour is a good minimum wage to start. But say if you have a general electives degree, depending on, like, obviously it would depend, varies workplace to workplace. Put associates, because we don't want to ask just them on there. Bachelor's, master's, and doctorates. So general electives degree, that's also part of your high school diploma, right? So what is associates? Associate's degree is what, 2 years? Yeah, so 2 years. So like say you have a general electives degree of something of 2 years, that should get you a starting rate of like $15 to $16 per hour. Or a bachelor's, it's like what, 4 years? 4 years. So that should get you a starting rate of 18, like $17 to $18 an hour. And then masters, okay, master degree typically takes 1 to 2 years for full-time students, but can range from less than a year to over 3 years, depending on your field programs. Okay, so so obviously this would be something you started back in like middle school. So if you have 6 years of a general electives degree, that can start you to a $19 to $20 per hour. Okay? And obviously with the doctorates, that's going to be something that you go for like, it should literally start earlier than like waiting till you're 18, go to college, and then getting these things. Like, no, you should definitely start earlier. And these can be a general electives degree, including with your high school diploma. So I would say starting at 18. Yeah, so 18 years. And if employers are watching this right now are saying like, oh, I can't afford that, maybe you shouldn't be in business. Maybe you should not hire people that you can't afford. If you're going to be in business, you need to pay the people what they're worth. You're paying for what they're worth, okay? Not what you think you can afford. No, then maybe you shouldn't be in business. It is what it is. So I feel like minimum wage, when it says $7.25, should be something for people who are 14 to 17 who are still living at home with their parents, who don't have to worry about rent, who don't have to worry about putting food on their on their plates, okay? Because their parents are obviously still, considered responsible for them. This is getting them geared to be able to deal with the stuff in the future, okay? So 18 years, I would definitely say once you hit 18 years, you should have a minimum wage of either $12 to $14 an hour, depending on what you're doing. And then something with general electives degree, starting at age 12, you start to learn, you start to build up that, experience in a specific field that you want. So that way, by the time you do graduate high school, you can still continue your education if you want, or you can start working right away and still be able to, afford the life that you deserve to have. Everybody deserves to have a home. Everybody deserves to have like food, healthcare, being able to afford this stuff. Not having to worry and stressing the hell out and their cortisol levels like through the fucking roof. So that's what I think. Am I speaking to the All High Almighty? Am I speaking to Jesus Christ? Am I speaking to anyone else other than the two of you? Is my favorite color red? Okay, we're getting interference here. See, like whenever I get interference, that usually means I'm on the right track. Hold on a second. In the name of the Mother, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, I cleanse the pendulum. In the name of the Mother, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, I cleanse your pendulum. In the name of the Mother, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, I cleanse the pendulum. Am I speaking to the All High Almighty? Am I speaking with Jesus Christ? Am I speaking with anyone else other than the two of you? There we go. Much better. Is my favorite color red? Is my favorite color blue? When I get interference like that, it's because I'm on the right track. Yeah, okay. Would this be a good generalized plan to help people, have better futures? Yes. Oh, the freaking car horn honked outside. So, yeah. What else can we talk about? Is there anything else you would like to talk about? Yes. Gun laws? Okay. All right. When it comes to gun laws, what do you think? I actually wrote this down somewhere. Where did I put it? No, it's not that one. I think it's this one. One second. I wrote it down. Where did it go? Okay. What does the divine think we should do about the gun laws in the USA? What does the divine think we should do about the gun laws in the USA? Huh. Do I need to pull out any more letters? No. Is my favorite color red? No. Is my favorite color blue? Yes. Am I speaking to the All High? Am I speaking to Jesus Christ? Am I speaking to anyone else other than the two of you? Nope. Okay. So we got Lilith, we got Virgo again, we got a question, we got 12, we got 9. We got money. Is the answer in the letters? Is the answer in the symbols? Yes. Okay. KKK, I'm getting more like superiority, something stronger. I'm getting more worldwide. This should be something worldwide. Okay, so with the KKK, like I said, I'm not getting the white supremacy. I'm just getting more supremacy. Okay, the state or condition of being superior to all others in authority, power, or status. So, like, more superior laws, like stronger laws. Act. Backed laws refers to proposed legislation that have support from lawmakers, advocacy groups, or the public aiming to become official state U.S. statutes, with current examples including bills on defense, Social Security relief, like the fact that it's yeah. So they want stronger laws. The divine wants stronger laws. Okay. Yes, we should have the right to bear arms, but like I'm also getting stronger background checks. Okay, so when I was getting EWL has several meanings, most commonly effective working length in lifting operations, the load bearing part of gear. But when I'm seeing like in lifting and engineering definition, the actual length of lifting gear in direct contact with the load determining capacity. Like I'm getting more mental capacity than anything. Yeah. I feel like because we have illusions out here, we have Lilith, we got Virgo, Capricorn, 12-9. We got money, probably more, make them more expensive, like harder. You need to make them you need to make them accessible but hard as hell to access because there's people out there. I mean, they can say what they want, but they deserve the right to bear arms. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm telling you right now, me growing up in school, I don't remember having school shooter drills. Okay, I remember fire drills and in specific areas, tornado drills. All right, never once had I had to worry about somebody coming in and shooting up the fucking place. Not once. And apparently it wasn't like I think Columbine shooting was like 1999, but like still, it's just nah, no. Like they should definitely make it. Block. I'm getting block, but I don't have enough. But I'm getting block mental, like disability, better education on it. Like that should be an education class, like an elective class, education. Okay. I looked this up, and like I said, I'm not getting KKK thing here. Okay, so when I'm looking this up, I'm getting black laws. Okay, so and I typed. So what I did, I said black laws and guns. All right. I'm not saying this on a regular like race thing. This is not a race thing. This is an everybody thing. Okay. It's saying something about including prohibiting firearm ownership. I mean, it's here. Okay, so I'm going to read what this says. Okay, I am not in any ways agreeing to this specific definition of it. Okay, not at all. But there's certain things in here that I am agreeing with, but not the whole thing. Okay, not at all. All right. So what this says, an AI overview: black laws, also known as black codes, were post-Civil War statutes that in the U.S. that restricted black freedom, including prohibiting firearm ownership to maintain white supremacy, while later gun control laws like California's Mulford Act also targeted armed black groups, Black Panthers, showing a historical pattern of using gun laws to control black communities and disarm them, despite black self-defense efforts and Second Amendment advocacy. Okay. I'm not agreeing with the whole thing. The thing that I'm agreeing on right here is prohibiting firearm, not to the race, guys. It has nothing to do with race. Certain things are popping out at me, and it's not about race, okay? I'm meaning prohibiting firearm to people who have, wackadoodle tendencies and giving them more gun control, okay? They need to figure out a way to have some type of what you call it? It's like a piece of paper. You fill out, they ask you questions, and it determines whether or not, you should be allowed to have a gun. I mean, yes, you should have the right to bear arms, but only specific guns, obviously. I mean, if you're a hunter and you need a hunting rifle to go hunt and, all that other stuff, those are certain guns that you're allowed to have. But also, metal. I'm getting metal detectors, more metal detectors in schools. Okay, so yeah, there's a lack of metal detectors. I think metal detectors should be in every entrance of the school. I mean, if you have doors open in a specific area of the school, there should be metal detectors there. Absolutely. No, it doesn't matter where in the country, where in the state. It doesn't matter. If you're a school, there should be metal detectors and security checks. Because if you don't want to do the whole, oh, well, it shouldn't matter if they're mental, they should be able to have the right to bear arms. I'm like, yeah, well, that's how you probably got shot. Security, more security in schools, more metal detectors in schools. I mean, this is going to help people get jobs, too. Okay. So I understand that this is a touchy subject, but, this shit is getting out of hand. These don't bite the hand that feeds you. You want to have these laws, and fine, do it for the right reasons. The fact that we're getting into this situation is because people they have their head so far up their ass that is causing us to be like, should we have guns? Should we not have guns? I mean, what is it in Britain, UK? From what I understand, they have a strict no gun policy. That's completely prohibit firearms unless you're a military soldier. I mean, it's not stopping anybody to come onto a bus with a machete or something like that, or a big ass knife, but I mean, you get what I'm saying. They should definitely have stronger laws, better background checks. I feel like every school should have metal detectors and security guards checking and stuff like that. It's because I remember going to, I want to say when I went to a more public, because I was a military brat, so I lived on military schools most of my life. And then when I went into a public school, we had alternating days of when we were going through the metal detectors, and I think it should be an everyday thing. Everybody should be going through metal detectors every single day. And unfortunately, that should start in elementary, because we've had those situations where kids were bringing in guns or some type of weapon. So I would say every school should have metal detectors and security checks. If you want to keep these laws the way they are, that everybody should have guns, then we need to have stronger security for schools. Because apparently they see it as fair game. Oh, well, they don't really have that much protection, so we can just go for them. Make it hurt that much more. Okay, so we got Virgo and Lilith. Like I said, when I was doing the whole Black Law thing, I am not for the whole racism thing. Whites, no, absolutely not. Fuck that shit. It's more of like certain things that were popping out, like gun control and stronger like laws or prohibiting certain guns and certain access to guns. And we're not getting into the whole race thing. It's just something that, explains it. So again, do not come for me. Alright, so Lilith in Virgo signifies a powerful, rebellious energy around service, perfectionism, health, and duty, manifesting as an inner struggle against societal pressures to be good or useful, leading to intense self-criticism, frustration with imperfection, and a deep-seated need to reject rigid expectations for personal freedom, even if it means embracing messiness or unconventional health paths. Good lord. It's about the untamed spirit finding power in the shadow areas of Virgo: work, health, the body, and analytical thought, challenging ideals of purity and practicality. That's basically what we were just talking about. Okay, then we have Virgo, or Capricorn, and Lilith. A powerful, rebellious energy focused on ambition, authority, and material achievement, often clashing with traditional structures while striving for ultimate mastery and tangible success, revealing power through hard work and challenging limitations with ruthless efficiency, but also needing to confront fears of inadequacy or failure. This placement embodies the dark feminine desire for control, independence, and breaking rules, demanding recognition through competence, not subservience, and potentially leading to intense drive or deep-seated resentment of authority. So, like I said, if you want to keep the whole we had the right to bear arms, then we need to have the right to protect our children and have stronger security. Stronger, like metal detectors, going through metal detectors every single day that you come to school, and security checks. They check your bags, every now and like you can have a whole like checking your locker thing, because technically that's not your locker. You didn't pay for that locker. That is the school's locker. That is school property. They can go through your locker. Then we also have Neptune, Capricorn, and Neptune. Blends Neptune mysticism and illusion with Capricorn structures and ambition, creating a focus on finding spiritual meaning in practical systems, delusionment with authority and finance, and a desire to reform institutions. What do I say? Reform institutions for greater collective good. Manifesting as idealism within business, a search for purpose and tradition, and potentially dissolving old power structures. It's about bringing divine vision into reality, using discipline to achieve transcendent goals, and questioning established hierarchies. And then we got Virgo in Neptune. A generational theme of merging spiritual ideals with practical service, healing, and analysis, creating breakthroughs in conscious health and mysticism, though it can also bring confusion where idealism meets reality, affecting health trends, social service, and the arts towards greater spiritual grounding. This placement last active was 1929 to 1943, and the next one is 2092 to 2105. Pushes for spiritual ideals to manifest in tangible ways, focusing on purity, healing, and meticulous spiritual work. So, like I said, you want to be able to have the right to bear arms, then we need to protect our children more. Yeah. Are there any more answers within the symbols, the letters? Are we done with today's read? Yes. All right, guys. That's all I got for you today. That's all that we're going to do. I need to buy more candles. Those were my last two. And I will see you on the next one. All right? Like, share, and subscribe. Love you. Bye.